So, first video of 2024. I've had a few weeks off just to reset myself. I went to a trip to Dubai, actually spent some time out there enjoying the good weather in Dubai because in England it's very grey and very cold. So yeah, everyday carry for 2024. A few things have changed, a few things haven't changed. One big thing that has changed is actually my glasses. If anyone has watched my previous one, I used to wear glasses. I don't wear glasses anymore because around this time last year, I think February last year, I had LASIK. So I had laser eye surgery, one of the best things I've ever done, well worth it for anyone considering it. Obviously, it's painful, it's scary having a laser shoot into your eye. You can even smell when it burns, like it's weird, but you're in and out in like 5-10 minutes. And now, nearly 12 months later, amazing. Like having 2020, I had better than 2020 vision, my doctor was telling me. So yeah, very, very happy with the investment. So let's first go into the bag. This is the Bellroy camera sling. It goes for $175, which isn't cheap. However, I was happy to spend that money because it is a dedicated sort of sling camera bag for cameras. Like that's the main thing. I have a pricey camera. I want to make sure it's protected. You know, this is like $2 or $3 grand camera. I want to make sure that it's taken care of. I don't want to be putting it into anything. So yeah, this camera sling is awesome. Inside there is a sort of, there's two dividers in here. So I don't know if you guys can see, but there's two dividers in here which you can use to sort of organize your camera and lenses. They also fold down as well. So they do fold inside, well, one of them does anyway. So I usually carry a camera and two lenses in this compartment. There is also, if I flip it around, there is a zip compartment here, which you can use to, well, I've got an air tag in here actually. You can put batteries and stuff. There are, you know, battery compartments. You can put SD cards or whatever, just a good way to organize your things. And then at the front, we do have more pockets where we can put things. So I have like filters and stuff in here. I'll sometimes put sunglasses in here. I'll put my AirPods in here. I'll put battery banks, whatever I'm carrying for the day, I'll put in here as well. It is how big is it? It is a 10 litre capacity. So it's quite, I think it's quite large, but it's not too big. And I usually just have it across my front or my back, depending on how I'm using it. Sometimes I actually leave it sort of in my hotel room or in my car if I don't actually need everything that's in here, and I'll carry only the camera. But yeah, this is awesome. This is a really, really useful bag to have. And for anyone who is carrying cameras and stuff, if you're like me, you like having a mirrorless with you, this is the perfect bag to carry that sort of thing with you. Next up, we have the Sony a7C Mark II. So I was a heavy user of the a7C Mark I. Absolutely love that camera. It was the perfect camera for me for travel photography. I wanted something compact that could use all of the Sony lenses that I already have because I'm very heavily invested in the Sony ecosystem. I record my videos with Sony cameras, so it only made sense to have a small compact camera like this where I could use the same lenses. However, I am very interested in the Leica Q3. I would really like a Leica Q3, but I just can't justify the price right now because this is like a third of the price of the Leica Q3, yet it can technically do more. However, obviously with the Leica, you're paying for the build quality, you're paying for the brand, you're paying for the image quality, you're paying for the glass. The glass especially is incredibly sharp. You're paying sort of that extra 10-20% of refinement, you could say, but you're paying triple the price. So for me, it doesn't really make sense to buy a Leica when something like this for me is a lot more capable. The sensor in this is incredible. It is a 33 megapixel sensor, and it is technically a Sony a7 IV in a more compact body. There are some compromises, but the Sony a7 IV is already an amazing camera and video camera. Like you can use it to record proper YouTube videos, like in amazing quality. I use it for recording some parts of my videos in the studio. So this is basically just a compact a7 IV. Like I said, there are compromises. The viewfinder is not as good. You only have one SD card slot and it's missing a few custom buttons like the joystick. However, like I said, for me, not an issue because I primarily will be using this when I'm traveling. I will primarily be using it for taking pictures. I like how when I need it to, it can also record amazing video. This is an absolutely awesome camera. For the price, I think it goes for 2,000, 2 or 3,000, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but for the money, this is one of the best compact sort of all-round cameras you can get. I love the design of it too. My previous A7C was all black, but this time around I went for the silver black combo. So the top plate here is silver. Just gives it a bit more of a sort of traditional classic sort of almost retro look, but still modern. I really do like the look of it. You know, like I said, 33 megapixel sensor. Some of the pictures that come out of this thing are just gorgeous. Like they're absolutely amazing. I haven't used it as much as I would like, mainly because I haven't been traveling that much ever since I got it. I only got it a few months ago, so I haven't had a chance to use it that much. But The pictures that I have taken with it, especially with the few weeks that I spent in Dubai, oh, the sort of creaminess of the pictures, but still the sharpness that they produce, it is incredible. And I was using these two lenses. These two lenses are the main lenses that I carry with me when I am traveling, just because they're so versatile. So the first one is the 35mm 1.8 from Sony. So I would have liked if this lens was more compact, but I wanted the low aperture of f1.8. It's why I ended up going with this, because they do a more compact version that is 2.8. But I just want that 1.8 for low light and for the very shallow depth of field. I really like shallow depth of field, is why I've gone with it. But it does make it quite big, you know, it does make it quite thick. And that's another reason why I love the idea of a Leica Q3, because the Leica Q3 has a much more compact lens. I might at some point change the lens to a more compact lens just for more convenience, because this also has some weight to it. But yeah, other than that, absolutely incredible lens. This is one of the best sort of compact, fairly compact lenses you can get for a system like this. And then my other lens is the Tamron 28-200. So this lens is the one that I use when I know I'm going to be shooting lots of different things, especially outside, because with the aperture on this lens, it's not really meant to be a low light king at all. But what's wild is that I can go from 28, which is quite wide, to be honest, 28 is quite wide, to 200. Like 200 in a lens this compact just blows my mind. One of the best lenses that you can get for all-round photography. However, there are some compromises again, because it's not a very expensive lens, it's quite cheap, plasticky build, and the sharpness isn't as good as some of the other lenses. But considering I'm not shooting photos for a magazine or for a book or to be blown up to be huge sizes, I'm just shooting pictures for my own memories, this does the job. Also, quickly, I want to mention that the camera strap that I'm using here is a Peak Design camera strap. It's okay. I don't think it's anything crazy special. What I do like about it is just how you can quickly sort of attach it and detach it. It's just very convenient having a camera strap like this. I also do actually like how on one side it has these rubber sort of grips, so you can have it on your shoulder and you can be more confident that it's not going to slip off. But other than that, pretty simple camera strap, does the job. The iPad mini. So I have tried every single iPad. I do actually have multiple iPad Pros as well. I have one here at the studio, I have one at home. But when it comes to what is my favorite iPad, it is this one, the iPad mini. The iPad mini for me is just an awesome little device. It's a shame it's quite expensive, and it's a shame they don't really update it that often. But for traveling, for everyday carry stuff, oh, it's just awesome. Look, it easily fits in my hand. Like it's just not an issue. It's such an awesome device. I've also found it just big enough to watch movies and play games, especially when I'm on a flight. And it's also the ideal size for reading on. So if you're someone who is into reading on Kindle or iBooks, whatever you're using these days, yeah, it's a great form factor to read. Obviously, a lot of people do talk about the bezels, right? It has quite big bezels, but I've realized when you're holding it like this, your thumb is over the bezel. So like you actually need the bezel around the device to make it more comfortable to hold, so that you're not randomly touching other parts of the screen. I do think it would be nicer with slimmer bezels. I'm not gonna like it. Like it would be cool with slimmer bezels, but I think the way I use it and stuff, I'm not too fussed. The battery life on it is okay. It's nothing outstanding, but it will be long enough for most people. Maybe you're using it on a flight. You can easily use it for the whole flight, no problem. I have the magnetic smart cover on it. And yeah, this is actually really useful, because for some flights, what I'll do is I'll actually put this maybe in between the screen on the seat, or I'll put it in the magazine holder of the seat in front of me. And I can just use it almost like having a screen in the back of the seat on the plane. It's awesome. One thing I do wish that the iPad mini had though, was a 120 Hertz display. I don't actually think it needs it, but I've just gotten so used to 120 Hertz display on my iPhone that when I do use this and I'm going around the UI, it just feels choppy. But yeah, it's not really that much of a big deal. It's more just like it would be a nice to have, because when you're using a device like this, you're most likely watching movies, playing some games or whatever. 120 Hertz is not really that needed. It's not really going to make a big difference in the experience of this device. Reading, watching movies and stuff, you really don't need 120 Hertz. I would just like to see it. I'd like to have it. Hopefully, Apple update it this year to have 120 Hertz. Next up is my iPhone 15 Pro. So I'll get it out of the case that I'm using. I do have the natural titanium iPhone 15 Pro. This is just a standard iPhone 15 Pro. I keep saying it on this channel all the time, because people are always asking me why didn't I go for the Pro Max. I just prefer the smallest form factor of the Pro. I've also gone with the natural titanium color, which is my personal favorite. I always used to choose grey or black in the past, but I chose this neutral colorway instead, and I don't regret my decision at all. I think it looks fantastic. The camera, of course, is amazing as expected. I always share pictures on Twitter, on Instagram, sharing pictures that I've shot with this iPhone. And yeah, a lot of you seem to like them because they seem to get so many likes on those platforms. It's really amazing the pictures you can shoot with an iPhone now. There's something about them that just makes them look a lot more sort of professional. They look like they could be taken with a professional camera. Like I said, I just got back from Dubai and I took a lot of photos with it. And I was just so impressed with how much range the photos have. Oh, and by the way, I have this awesome new wallpaper pack for anyone interested. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. The iPhone case that I'm using is from Nomad. This is the modern brown leather case. I really like it. It's actually held up incredibly well, and this has taken quite a beating. Like, I've dropped it quite a few times. I've got a few marks on it here and there, a few scratches on it, but it's done an incredible job of taking care of my iPhone. It's not cheap at $70. But I think to myself, it's $1,000 phone. I want to make sure that I have a case that can protect it so that I don't smash it. Luckily, I've never broken or smashed an iPhone. Or any phone, actually, from what I can remember. I don't think I've broken a single phone since I've had smartphones like 12, 13 years now, which is pretty wild. 14 years, actually. Yeah, it's incredible how lucky I've been. Now that I've just said that, I bet you what happens is next week or in a month or something, I'm going to have a cracked iPhone. Like, I've just sort of jinxed myself. But anyway, yeah, I'm getting distracted. The Nomad iPhone case is awesome. The back of it is leather, this back part, and then the rest of it I think is like TPU. But the sort of tolerances, the design of it, I think is incredible. It's definitely worth the $70. I also really like the buttons on it. They're anodized aluminium. Having little things like that makes it feel a lot more premium. Next up is the Anker battery bank. So I did used to use a Belkin one, but I came across this a few months ago and it is awesome. It's just a bit more useful. It is a bit more chunky though, but that's because it has a larger battery. It is 5,000 milliamp hours. But what's awesome about this, actually I'll put it on the back of the phone so you guys can see how chunky it is, because it basically overhangs a little bit, which for some people will be an issue. I don't mind too much because I know how powerful it is and how much battery life it can give me. But what's awesome is that the back folds out like this and you can use it as a stand. So you can have your phone as a stand like this. But what's also pretty clever is that you can rotate your device and have it landscape as well. So this is pretty useful because you can imagine it's charging your phone, you have a kickstand and you can have it landscape. Maybe you're someone who commutes on the train, on a plane, whatever it is, you can use it as a kickstand to watch your stuff without actually having to hold your phone. It has a USB-C port that is used to recharge the battery bank, but you can also use the USB-C port to charge other devices. So if you have a device that can't magnetically charge, you can just connect it directly via USB-C. I also feel like it's very well built. I was very impressed because I think you can pick it up for like $30 or $40. It feels a lot more expensive than that. I feel like this could easily be $70 or $80 because of the way it feels. It feels very, very well built. Next up, we have the AirPods Pro 4th generation. I mean, okay, they're not the 4th generation, they are the 2nd generation. I just say that as a joke because mistakenly in my other EDC video, I call them the 3rd generation when the 3rd generation doesn't exist. But yeah, these are the 2nd generation. AirPods Pro for me, they are just the most convenient. Sound quality is okay, but it's just the form factor and the way they connect to the iPhone, the way they connect to my MacBook, the way they automatically switch audio. They're just so convenient. Charging them as well, being able to charge them with an Apple Watch charger or wirelessly charging is awesome. And obviously with these being the 2nd generation, they have the lanyard loop, they have the sort of speaker in the bottom as well. So you know when it's charging, it gives that little indication sound. And the fitment for me as well is awesome. I do like the way that these go in ear and blocking out noise from the outside. And the noise cancellation, I think is actually really good. It's not going to match up to a dedicated pair of noise cancelling headphones, but when I'm using them in the gym, when I'm using them at home, you know, just in like public places and stuff, the noise cancellation is more than good enough. If I'm on a flight, obviously the sound will come through, but I usually use the AirPods Max in those sorts of situations. But for everyday stuff, this is just awesome. You know, being able to quickly slip it in my pocket, the size and everything, it's just very convenient. Next up, we have the Apple Watch Series 9. So I did upgrade my Apple Watch this year to the Series 9. Not much of an upgrade over the Series 7 that I had previously. This is the graphite stainless steel in 41mm. I prefer the 41mm size. I just prefer smaller watches. My wrists are quite skinny. I have quite thin wrists. I don't want a big bulky watch on there. I don't think it really makes sense. I have the stainless steel link bracelet on it. This is from Apple. It's from their website. I've had this since 2015, so it's absolutely wild how well it's held up. But it should really, considering the price. This is a very well built link bracelet. It's made from stainless steel, and yeah, 2015, ever since then I've been wearing it nearly every single day. I even wear it to the gym, I wear it when I go swimming. I have no issues with it. It is absolutely solid. It's got a few marks and scuffs on it, but you can't really tell them unless you're looking very close, you're looking up very close. But when it's on my wrist, I just think it looks super smart, super clean. It's a very, very nice link bracelet. I do also have the Apple Watch Ultra, but I only wear this depending on the circumstance. I don't really wear it that often, to be honest with you. I took it with me when I went to Iceland last year and I loved it. I feel like it made a lot of sense in a situation like that. But I think for every day, it's just too big. Like for me personally, I kind of wish they did a smaller version of the Ultra, and I wish they did it in black. But with it being titanium, yeah, like, I mean, I guess they actually do the black titanium iPhone. So yeah, they should be able to do a black titanium version of this. However, it'll probably scratch up more often and you'll be able to sort of see the titanium come through. Anyway, I do like this watch. I think it's awesome. And I love how it's made from titanium. It feels just really well built. The band that I have on it is from Bandworks. This is also a stainless steel link bracelet. For those people who are into watches, don't you think this looks like an AP sort of bracelet? One that you'd get with a Royal Oak or something like that. It's an awesome bracelet. I think it looks awesome. I'll leave a link to it for those who are interested. It's from Bandworks. But yeah, Apple Watch Ultra, awesome watch. I kind of wish I could wear it more often, but it's just too big and bulky for everyday usage. I only wear it depending on the circumstance, depending on where I'm going. Next up, we have the Whoop band. So a lot of people have been mistaking this for another watch. I've worn it in videos, I've worn it in pictures, and people think I'm wearing two watches. Yeah, wearing two watches, some people can get away with it. I'm not sure I'm one of those people. In reality, I'm just wearing a smart health tracker. So for anyone who doesn't know what Whoop is, it is basically just a health tracker like the Apple Watch, but it's a bit more in depth and there's no screen. There's actually no way to interact with this device other than with your phone. Everything has to be done with your phone. And the reason I got this was because I'd seen quite a few fitness people wearing it. I'd seen quite a few friends wearing it. Those friends are very heavily into fitness. As I have gotten more into fitness over the last couple of years, I thought to myself, okay, let's try this out. Let's see what it's like. And I've been enjoying it. It's been pretty good. There's one primary reason why I use this, and that is for tracking my recovery. So for example, if I have a hard workout, if I do a really hard workout, or I eat lots of food, maybe I eat junk food or just have a bad meal or something, this will pick up on that. This will pick up on that hard workout. It'll pick up on any junk food, things like that. And for people who drink as well, I'm not a drinker, so it's not really been a concern for me. People who drink, they can really see how it affects their health the next day. It has taught me that some days I just need to rest. I don't need to be doing any workouts. I just need to eat clean and I need to rest. And it's really helped me sort of figure out what works for me. For a lot of people, I probably wouldn't actually recommend the Whoop. Like, I don't think it really makes sense for most people unless you're heavily into fitness, you're heavily into tracking your recovery, all these sort of granular details. For a lot of people, that can actually be very stressful. For a lot of people, that's a nightmare. For me, not an issue. I like being able to track that information. I like being able to use that information to make my life better. Next up, we have the Orbit key organizer. So I've been using this for a long time now. It hasn't really changed. It's just a compact key organizer made from leather. I have 3 keys on it. And I also have this cool sort of tool, you could say, sort of acts as a flathead screwdriver, bottle opener, also has a ruler on it. Pretty awesome. Yeah, this does the job. I like it because it's just very simple. I don't like keys making lots of noise. This makes no noise. Look, I can move it around, makes no noise. It's awesome. And it's very compact. I can stick it in my pocket and it doesn't really take up much space. Next up, we have my Go Yard wallet. So I picked this up a few months ago. Weren't cheap, I'll be honest with you, and also quite hard to get, but it is awesome. And the main reason I like it is because when it comes to designer brands and designer labels, I'm not too fussed. You know, some people like their designer brands, some people like their designer labels. I actually prefer designer brands and labels that are quite subtle. And I really think this is quite subtle. It's sort of one of those brands where if you know sort of thing. Because I think most people, they're not going to even notice. They're not even going to notice what this is. Most people are just going to think it's another wallet. But I particularly like the pattern on this. This is the black version. They also do a black and brown version. I was very close to getting the black and brown version, but I really like this one just because it's so simple and clean. Like, it looks awesome. I love the pattern on it. The logo as well, like I said, you're not really going to notice that. Like, it's so subtle on here. It's made from a canvas material. I'm not sure if it's leather. I think it's canvas leather, something like that, but it's not like full grain leather. Full grain leather is always better, but it does have a lot of space in it. I can fit 4 cards either side, so 8 cards there. I can also put things inside behind the cards, which is pretty awesome. And then you also have 2 slots for cash. yeah, does the job for me right now. In an ideal world, I would not have a wallet at all. I would have everything on my phone because I pretty much do use Apple Pay anywhere I go. But sometimes Apple Pay isn't accepted. Sometimes I have some cash that I need to get rid of. I use the wallet. And obviously, like I have my ID and stuff. I have my Tesla key card in here as well. So my Tesla key card is here. Like, you know, these sort of things you have to carry around with you, right? So it just makes sense to put it in here. In an ideal world, I wouldn't have a wallet at all. I will most likely at some point though switch to the card holder. I have the wallet right now, but yeah, the card holder I think makes more sense. I just need to get rid of all the cards that I have. I have way too many cards. So that is it for my everyday carry for 2024. I don't expect it to change much over the next year. I think the only things that will change is maybe my phone, hopefully iPad mini if they update the iPad, and maybe an Apple Watch, but the rest of it should pretty much stay the same. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll leave links to everything, of course, down in the description below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more.